Hay que ponerse las pilas porque hemos tocado fondo. It's time to get our act together because we just hit rock bottom. Di Stefano used to say that no player is better than the whole team together. As a matter of fact, that message is written on the wall of the tunnel just before stepping onto the Bernabeu pitch. Last Saturday night, very few players from Real Madrid, including the coaching department, honored that motto. Pocos estuvieron a la altura de ese lema. We looked more like a band of musicians with no direction and with out-of-tune instruments, each playing their own tune. Out of tune significa estar desafinado, y tune podríamos traducirlo aquí en este contexto como melodía. Muy buenas a todos, gente buena, buena gente, football geeks, frikis del fútbol, football geeks, and welcome to a new episode of Inglés para Vikingos. Hoy mi tono, y tal vez el del vocabulario que voy a utilizar en este Inglés para Vikingos, pues ya os podéis imaginar, va a ser un tono algo triste, desanimado, no de drama, eso sí que no. But it's going to be pretty disheartened. Disheartened es un adjetivo que podéis utilizar para la palabra desanimado o descorazonado. Pero bueno, eso no debe ser motivo para que vosotros sigáis aprendiendo un poquito más con cada uno de estos episodios. Porque ya sabéis que con nuestros vídeos lo que tengo claro es que siempre vamos a salir ganando. Siempre vamos a aprender alguna palabra o alguna expresión nueva. Y por ello os pido que si aún no estáis suscritos, pues que lo hagáis ahora y así seguimos creciendo. Al igual que va a seguir creciendo ese cuaderno vikingo, que ya sé que vais poniendo ahí todas las expresiones y todo el vocabulario que vais viendo. Incluso algunas estructuras gramaticales, sí. Hay que poner también estructuras gramaticales. And now, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Y ahora, vamos al lío. You know, guys, I thought we'd hit rock bottom at halftime against Dortmund in the previous match, but I was wrong. Today, it wasn't just rock bottom. We completely sank. Nos hundimos del todo. Before the game, Real Madrid knew that with a win, they'd be level on points with Barcelona. And needless to say that this match always carries bragging rights. Bragging rights. Pone el orgullo siempre en juego, whether you're on top or behind. El verbo to brag significa alardear, como castizamente se diría también fardar. Pero si lo convertimos en sustantivo en adjetivo como aquí, se podría traducir como esa chulería, esa fanfarronería o incluso orgullo, como es este caso. And to make this clash, este enfrentamiento, even more exciting, both teams came off impressive Champions League victories over German giants, Bayern de Múnich and Dortmund, setting the stage perfectly, generando así pues este escenario perfecto for such a high stakes showdown, para un duelo de altísimo nivel, a high stakes showdown. This game, like many others this season, was a clear split between two halves. Tuvo dos caras muy distintas, a clear split between two halves. And I said a clear split because in the first half we were decent. Even though the football wasn't top notch, no era de primer nivel, it wasn't top notch, we were the better team. And we could have easily scored a couple of goals, thanks to our quick strikers and Barça's high defensive line. But the second half, total disaster. No game plan, no tactics, no motivation, no drive to turn it around. Sin empuje para darle la vuelta a la cosa. Our weaknesses were on full display. Esta expresión on full display podemos usarla para decir al descubierto. So all our weaknesses were on full display and honestly, it felt very unprofessional from both the coaching staff and players. That's why I said earlier we'd hit rock bottom, que habíamos tocado fondo. So after 15 games, Vikingos, we're still struggling to put together some quality or decent football. We keep chasing the games, seguimos yendo a remolque, we keep chasing the games and letting our opponents set the pace, marcar el ritmo, to set the pace. With our talent, this definitely just shouldn't be happening. The worst part is seeing players on the field with their heads down, looking unmotivated, like Jude, and some other players who aren't even getting a shot, que no tienen ni siquiera una oportunidad, like Hendrik or Guller. In this match, we saw gaps across the pitch. Vimos lagunas por todo el campo, from a shaky and nervous Lunin in goal to an out-of-place Mbappé up front. Desde un Lunin muy nervioso a un Mbappé fuera de sitio adelante. And especially in the coaching department. Lunin, for instance, had a rough night. Poor ball control, no remarkable saves, ninguna parada reseñable. And although he couldn't have done much for some of the goals, he looked insecure, particularly on Yamal's and Rafinha's goals. And as for Mbappé, I wouldn't say he was lazy or disengaged, poco comprometido. He just seemed out of position, a bit unsure, and not quite himself, y no en su mejor versión. Not quite himself in terms of finishing and overall game awareness, y en esa percepción del juego, game awareness. He kept falling into offside traps, I'd say almost 7 or 8 times, and when he did get a shot, it went straight to the keeper, and you can tell he's clearly struggling with positioning and he's anxious to score. Regarding Ancelotti, I'm honestly getting tired of criticizing him. I don't want to sound like a broken record, no quiero sonar como un disco rayado, but I've pointed out our tactical and game plan issues so many times before, against teams like Mallorca, Real Sociedad, Las Palmas, Alavés, Lille, incluso con el Atleti, and even Dortmund, where without Viní and Courtois, we would have been hammered. Nos hubieran machacado, we would have been hammered. These same issues popped up in this game. Surgieron de nuevo. To pop up es un phrasal verb que significa surgir, aparecer. I know Ancelotti has done a lot for us in the past, but football is all about the present, especially at a big club like Real Madrid. Sure, he's got a great attitude and brings that paternal vibe to the team, but as of today, he's lacking tactical depth and detailed game preparation. He relies heavily on intensity and leans too much on Viní, who drives 80% of our games, and of course Courtois, who constantly bails us out. To bail out es un phrasal que vimos en el episodio anterior y que significa salvar el pellejo en la jerga futbolera. But when these two guys aren't enough, we should have more tools to rely on. Deberíamos tener más herramientas. Frankly, I think Ancelotti is not getting the best out of this team. I don't see a plan tailored to our opponents or any push to develop young talent, both of which are things Real Madrid fans value a lot. It's quite frustrating to watch. And it's even more frustrating when we knew their game plan. A high defensive line, just perfect for us to exploit with our fast forwards Viní and Mbappé. But it felt like we had no tactical plan to break it down, and no strategy at all for timing our runs better. Para coordinar mejor esas carreras, timing our runs better, and avoid those annoying offsides. And then there is Jude positioning. He was isolated on the right wing again. With the game turning into long balls to the forwards, he barely got any touches, and you could see his frustration. I'm telling you, it's pretty sad watching him look both bored and disheartened out there. Disheartened, ya lo vimos antes, es un adjetivo que significa desanimado. Today, I wanted to bring this section into the video because something really caught my attention during the game and got me thinking. Viní attempting a rainbow flick while the game was still 0-0. A rainbow flick, guys. Eso es en español una lambreta. ¿Sabéis lo que es una lambreta, verdad? Pues ese regate en el que elevas el balón por detrás del tacón y lo pasas por encima del defensor. Algo así. Guys, I don't know about you, but I see Barça playing and that team means business. I mean, they're not flashy, they're not trying to look pretty. They go out with the clear aim of crushing their opponents, machacar a sus rivales. On the other hand, Real Madrid sometimes appears more focused on style, as if they were playing with a sense of overconfidence. It feels like many times they know their stars, but they're more focused on showing off, en mostrar sus cualidades, en fardar, than on what really matters, which is winning. Just look at Viní pulling that rainbow flick in El Clásico with the game at 0-0. For God's sake, Viní, that's a move you save for when you're up by 3 or 4 goals. Not when the match is still on the line, no cuando aún está en el aire, hombre. And then Mbappé, he's got the speed to cook any defender. Ya sabéis que el verbo to cook en la jerga futbolera significa como zafarse de los defensas. Informalmente también es mamarse a un rival. Yet he kept drifting offside, cayó en el fuera de juego constantemente. He kept drifting offside against Barcelona's high line, wasting chance after chance. And this is the point I wanted to make. I remember in the old days, Ronaldo would have called out, hubiera reprendido, a teammate for that. He held everyone accountable. Mantenía a todos en su sitio. He held everyone accountable. He made sure they gave their best and pushed them to deliver. Today, that spark, that fire seems to be missing, people. They're lacking that grit. Les falta esa garra. They're lacking that accountability, the kind that wins the games. Right now, They need more than just swagger. Esa palabra para decir pavoneo o arrogancia, swagger. They need a wake-up call. Necesitan una llamada de atención. Today's pick of the match is a tribute to second-hand embarrassment. Es un tributo a la vergüenza ajena. Let's get the trash out of football, please. These thugs don't belong at public events. These people need a reality check. A esta gentuza les hace falta un baño de realidad. These thugs have no place at any public event. I insist, these thugs have no place at any public event. They need some education and shouldn't be roaming free. No deberían estar por ahí vagando, libres. It's embarrassing to see them in my stadium, at the Bernabeu. I know it was only 3 or 4 of them because I was there, and by the way, there wasn't a single incident or chant throughout the game. But those 3 or 4 should be banned for life. Please get the hell out of our lives. So, Vikingos, in a nutshell, this Clásico was rough for Madrid fans this time around. We played a solid first half, that's true, but the second half was embarrassing. Ancelotti was out there at the press conference defending his players. He said that the scoreline didn't really tell the whole story, but yeah, Barcelona pretty much ran the show. Ellos se llevaron todo el protagonismo. Lewandowski scored twice, he was fantastic, and then Yamal and Rafinha each chipped in. Ambos anotaron, making it a brutal 4-0 for Barça at the Bernabeu. And that wasn't exactly the Saturday night Real Madrid was hoping for. With Barça now 6 points ahead in La Liga, we've got some serious work to do to catch up. But our coach didn't seem too concerned, which worries me at the same time. After the game, he was like, "Look, we've been here before. Last time Barça beat us like this at home, we still won La Liga and the Champions League." In the end, he's telling us that Real Madrid isn't throwing in the towel, which is okay. No está tirando la toalla. We're not throwing in the towel. And with Real Madrid, we know that's true because we've bounced back so many times. And we bounced back from worse. Y hemos salido adelante de peores situaciones. But right now, it's Barça's moment. Let's admit it. Pues bien, vikingos, aquí tenéis de nuevo el vocabulario de hoy. Algunas de las expresiones las vuelvo a repetir a veces porque de esa forma poco a poco ya van calando. Así que ya sabéis, vamos anotando todo, vamos enriqueciendo como siempre nuestra agenda vikinga con cada uno de estos vídeos. No os perdáis el siguiente, por supuesto. And of course, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons if you think you picked up or learned something new today. Drop any feedback in the comments if you wish, and a big hug to all of you vikingos.